Hey, everybody. I've been asked over the past, I think, couple of weeks now to give my opinions on this year's election. And what I think was even more pressing for me to kind of mention is that I've been asked to, I guess, do the dirty work for some campaigns. And so, kind of what I want to talk to you right now is that it's really not my job. I was talking with the folks in the office. I just got a message about, I should have done this or I should have done that. And the truth is, just as always in the news business or in my line of work, I tend to know a little bit more than what we publish. I tend to know a little bit more about what's happening behind the scenes than I let on. But some things absolutely need a filter, and some things are not needed from a news standpoint for the public. So, for example, there was a candidate who recently had a letter sent out, and I was asked to publish the letter. And I said, well, look, I'd be happy to publish the letter in the form of a letter to the editor, but it's really not my job to go out. Y'all, stop. It's really not my job to go out and investigate these types of things. I mean, certainly we want to inform everybody what's going on, but the way I saw our role in this year's election was and is to be very fair to all the candidates. They're all verified candidates. They've all paid their filing fee. They've all started their campaigns. I'm assuming they're filing correctly with the Board of Elections for their campaign finance reports. But our job is to ask them questions and let them respond. And the way we decided to do that was to come up with a list of questions that all of them could respond to, that were timely, that were relevant, that were sensitive to what was going on in the community. But it's really not my job to go out and investigate all the political wrongdoings or potential wrongdoings of candidates for office. If that's what you want the news business to do, then feel free to turn to any investigative national news outlet or News Observer or whoever that you want to. That's not who News is. It's not who I am, and it's not going to reflect in what we do. I will tell you that we had discussions here in the office as recently as this week as to whether or not News would have an editorial board to discuss the endorsement or not of candidates. And we unanimously decided against doing that from a news standpoint. Now, that doesn't mean that I want myself in an op-ed or an editorial column say what I think should happen or what I would like to see happen. I'm kind of reserving some judgment on that. I'm not ready to make that decision. But it's really not my job to go out and investigate candidates. If you are supporting a candidate, I want you to hear me on this. If you are supporting a candidate and you want your candidate to run, then you need to get out and knock on doors. I haven't heard of one campaign yet, not one, that's knocked on a single door. You might have had a chicken dinner, you might give away some free stuff somewhere or not. You might have had a community get together, but not a single person has knocked on the door. Not a single person has taken, in my opinion, a Facebook Live approach to getting question and answers done. You might do a video here or there, you might go to a forum here or there, but I'm not seeing a tremendous amount of effort on behalf of our candidates to use social media to actually get their own campaign message out, let alone the more grassroots of picking up the phone, making calls, or knocking on doors. But it's not my job to campaign for you. It's not my job to do these things for you. I get that people are looking to me for some sort of guidance on some of it because I've served in these roles. But as a news entity, I'm not going to get into the political bickering. I didn't do it 4 years ago. I learned a lesson the very first time I ran for office, and I've done my best ever since to stay out of the nonsense of campaigns. And from a news standpoint, it doesn't benefit our readers for us to dig up dirt on one candidate and not take the time to dig up dirt on another candidate. Because guess what? There's something bad about all of y'all out there, right? Including me. And so that's why it's just not worth it. If you want to support your candidate, knock on somebody's door, write them a check, go vote for them, stand at the polls for them, write a letter to the editor for them. I mean, we at News are publishing letters to the editor. We published one this morning from Mr. Dan Perry for Felicia Solomon. It's the only one we've gotten. If you support Mayor Hardy, wonderful, send us a letter. If you support Ms. Solomon, great, send us a letter. If you support Zach Holcomb, perfect, send us a letter. If you support Jeffrey Warren, wonderful, send us a letter. Post a video on your own Facebook, but don't expect News to do that kind of work for you. That's not our job to do that for the people. The candidates themselves and their supporters need to do that. We're a small operation with limited resources, and we're trying to do our best to get the word out of this very important. And yes, I do consider this to be one of the most important municipal elections I've seen in my lifetime, and that includes even what I would have considered important when I was running. But when I look at the landscape of what's happening in the city today, what's happening with the budget, the 3 major vacancies that have happened, the sometimes excessive or wasteful spending, the need for some improvements in the community, then I want you to get your word as to how you're going to do that. So I asked candidates questions like, the last 2 years, there were the mayor and some members of council tried to give themselves pay raises 2 years in a row. I called them out for it then, and I asked the mayor and all the council members and that would come talk to us and the mayoral candidates that question. What do you think is an acceptable wage? I asked them about the number of small businesses are closing on Mondays. How can the city help with that, or can you not? Ask them what's the most important issue facing the city, and how would you address it if you get into office? These are questions that people need to be able to answer, and they should answer, and they should be prepared to answer these questions. And I had a very lively, engaging conversation with all 8 candidates that came, and we're publishing them. Yesterday we published Mayor Hardy and Councilman Swenson. This morning, I think at lunch, we published Felicia. This afternoon, we're publishing Michael Martin. Tomorrow at noon, we're publishing Zach Holcomb and Chris Suggs. And on Thursday, we're publishing Jeffrey Warren and Les Lifford, and we've put out some quotes, and we're going to mash up the Grace Fellowship and Counter Grace podcast with our own interview. We're going to release those kind of a hodgepodge of their quotes in a story, but it's really not my job to go out and do the investigative, he wanted me to hold it up, the investigative dirty work for campaigns. And yes, there are skeletons in everyone's closet. I get it. Especially if you're a public servant, you are held to a higher standard, as you should. If a campaign wants, or a supporter of a campaign wants to issue that kind of decree or give their opinion on something, send us a letter, knock on a door, tell somebody about it, get in front of a microphone wherever you can, let the community know about it. And my only request is that you be respectful in doing so. Be factual, give your opinion, and then move on. So I don't know if this falls on deaf ears or not. The truth is, like most times, if you like it, great. If you don't like it, great. If you're on my page, wonderful. If you're not on my page, wonderful. But as I was getting fired up about it, Letha said, "You need to go live," and then Brandon came up with this silly thing. So look, I hope this helps. Send us your letters of endorsement, info@newsnews.com. We'll be happy to publish it. We've already done one. We're publishing all the way through, what, Christy? That Sunday before the election? Yeah, so the Sunday before the election, we'll publish letters to the editor for these endorsement letters. So I hope this helps somebody some way, somehow, and wish you all the best. Take care. I love you. God bless.